the staircase of disbelief. So we're going to tie here nihilism to flat Earth, right? If you consider the ability for people, this is what you're talking about, the ability for people to grapple with very controversial parapolitical ideas, or with hugely alternative perspectives on, let's say, historical events, globalist politics, metaphysical ideas, just this sense that the great holographic illusions of reality must be encountered if you want to know what's going on. And there's different levels of that. And for me, a useful thing to do is place things within a sort of classification system of elevating incongruity, right? Elevating astonishment, higher and higher levels of mind-bending improbabilities, right? So in my work with individuals, which is like 90% of what I do, we call this funny idea the staircase of disbelief, right? And let me just explain what that is, because it's dead simple. Imagine a staircase that stretches up into the sky, into the clouds, right? And low down on that staircase are certain subject matters where you can take a step on it, a little step. Let's take an easy one. JFK was not assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald, right? So let's say that's step one. So that's a conspiracy that is kind of obvious. And anyone who's just looked at that for 2 seconds thinks, well, he can't have done. It didn't happen like that. There's something else that went on, right? Okay, well done. You've just taken your first step on the staircase, right? So you've got your foot on the first stair. You're on it, right? Let's take another one. Easy one. WMDs. Iraq did not have weapons of mass destruction capable of reaching England or America in 2003, which was used as the justification for an invasion of a sovereign nation.
Weapons of mass deception is what was used.
That's right, weapons of mass deception. Weapons of mass destruction were not real, and Tony Blair and George Bush lied. And people who exposed that deceitfulness were assassinated, like Robin Cook, the British MP. He exposed that lie, and they killed him. Let's say that's step 2, right? You see where I'm going with this, yeah?
Sure.
And you're on the steps, and there's other ones. We could go through a bunch, but let's say you get the idea. Low down on the staircase, there's some slightly unbelievable ideas, but nevertheless they are true. And once you've taken a few steps up there, you then start to get the idea that the world is not the way you thought it was. And then you get, let's say, midway on the staircase, 9/11. 9/11 was not due to 19 Arab hijackers. First and foremost, because many of them have turned up alive. Fact. Go and check that out. So right from the start, it wasn't. And then we meet, and you and I have spoken to this woman, Judy Wood, and people like that, who have got a clear, thinking head on the shoulders, who are not swayed by nonsense, not pushed by trends and popular themes, not threatened, who tells us that there's a serious problem on that day. That's a big one. That's kind of midway up the staircase, that 9/11, and it's, as you know, Mel, it's a big one. That it's a world changer for people. So that's a classic, what I would call in the old days, Stargate event. Once you've moved through that Stargate of that, 1 or 2 years personal study, things are never the same again, right? So let's say that's midway on the staircase, and on the next stair, mass shootings are often faked. So easy to see and prove that, so easy. But you see now, if you haven't ascended the previous stairs, you can't believe that. You cannot believe the idea that the US and UK governments, operating under instructions from global empire, routinely murder children and women and men to advance gun restrictions, aggressive mental health care policy, and a sort of, increasing dependence on the state. That's unbelievable if you're not already gone up the staircase. Are you with me?
Oh, certainly.
Right? Whereas if you have walked up some of those stairs, prior stairs, you think, well, I can imagine that, to be honest. I'll need to take a look. I'm not just going to believe it willy-nilly just because Mel said it, but I'm going to listen to what the evidence is provided with all these different guests that talk about shootings and psyops and whatnot, and I'm going to check it out. And it really isn't very difficult to be a quality researcher. It's really not. You need to train yourself. You need to develop discernment. It takes a while, but it's not hard. It really isn't that hard. And when you look at it, you see the staggering problems, particularly all the doctored photographs in Sandy Hook. Big giveaway, big giveaway. Another one on the midway point. The media is not fair and never has been. Never has been. Once you start to grasp the magnitude of empire, that's not too difficult to get to that, right? And then you get to another one. This is a tough one for some people, because we're midway, we're getting higher on the staircase now. Is it possible that we conceive of a situation where all kinds of organisations, like the United Nations and the Bank of England and Black Lives Matter and Antifa, anti-fascism, Occupy, Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, Women's March, is it possible that those groups are actually bad? That they appear to be grassroots uprisings of people wanting equity and justice? Of course. No, wrong. That's not what they are. They've not arisen organically, and they do not represent reality. They are conditioning beacons, and they suck in the unwary and empty them out. They sort of amplify unreality only to create this extended movie, this long play movie that goes on and on and on and on. Fake polarizations, always fomenting division, always exploiting the weakest members of society, people with nothing, who don't have a chance to sit back and educate themselves, who don't have a chance in hell of that. They are the foot soldiers of those groups. Oh wow, really? So all that anti-fascism stuff and all those good people who think that that's all garbage. That's right, that's garbage, all of it, all garbage. That's a tough place to be. If you can stomach that, then you get further up, let's say the top parts of the staircase. World War II is almost the exact reverse situation as we've been taught in the timeline. Almost the exact reverse of everything. Who the Allied powers are, who the Axis powers are, it's almost back to front. World War II is one of the biggest psyops that you've ever seen in your life because of the extended period of time for it. The Holocaust, millions of Jews. Did millions of Jews die as part of a organised final solution in gassings? Did that happen or did it not? And then you come to other things that are more impersonal. The sun and the moon, they're not far away. They're not what we think they are.
Before the sun and the moon, let me just mention this. If that is true, the Holocaust did exist, then why is it that the deaths that happened in the former Soviet Union, which were it dwarfs what happened in Poland, Austria, and all those countries, Germany, why is that not publicized as much as the others?
Right, exactly. That's part of like 100 things to look at about World War II. That's like number 58. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Really important, but do you see what I'm saying here, Mel? Because you've already taken many steps up the staircase, I can walk into your living room and say, hey, how about that Holocaust? And you're like, I know, it's crazy. I wonder what the situation is. There's so many question marks. You can do that in 2 seconds because you've already walked up the staircase. Even if you've only just heard that bit for the first time, stair 78 for the first time.
Yeah, but don't go to Europe to question that because you'll go to jail.
You'll go to jail because people in Europe are not allowed on the staircase. They're not allowed on it at all. If I go down to the local coffee shop here in my little town in Washington State and start talking about that, I think the police would arrive and they'd take me off in a truck, and think, well, that's some sort of racial hatred thing. What on earth are you talking about, you anti-Semite, racist, xenophobic, bigot, white privileged bastard? What on earth are you talking about? No, you wouldn't do it because we know that no one's gone up that staircase. Nobody's done it. You go up further. The Earth is not a sphere. The sun and the moon are not what you think they are. Same size, not far away. There is no gravity. Humans are ensouled children of divine source. And right at the top of the staircase, God is real and loves you. That's the hardest one for anyone to fucking believe. The hardest one. Even stupid religious people don't really accept that in the heart. They have a different version of it. That staircase of disbelief is what allows one person to examine a thing and another person not to examine a thing. You forget, Mel, and I say this tongue-in-cheek, you forget how far you've already come up that staircase over the last 15 years. You forget how many steps you've taken, and you forget what giant cataclysmic paradigm shifts you've had in your own private mind, in your own heart, in your own thoughts, personally in your life, with yourself, with your family, with your friends, with your business, with the audience, with this, with everything. We forget how far we've come. And just for a second, you stop and you look down and you realize you're at the top of the staircase. You're right there thinking, anything's possible. Stair 100. Anything is possible. There's many people walking around who may have taken 1 step or 2 steps or no steps. You cannot go midway or high up on the staircase and just say, hey, what about World War II? Apparently, Hitler was a real nice guy. You can't do that. You can't do that because it doesn't work. And what parapolitical researchers forget is the entire existence of these building blocks of ontological considerations, of considerations of what is real, epistemological considerations. How do we know what is real? How can we understand the scope of truthfulness? What does that even mean? Walking up that staircase in our own private studies answers that for us in very personal, meaningful ways. So like I say, I can walk into somebody's living room in this audience, pick a random guy, a random woman, and we can dive right into stair number 72, right into stair number 97. And they'll be like, wow, it's incredible. I don't know if it's true. It could be garbage, but I am prepared to look at it. And I don't have any investment. I don't have any problem looking at these issues. And I'm not in the least racist or anti-Semite, of course. That would be stupid, megally stupid, hugely stupid. It doesn't even go on the radar. However, in mainstream society, there is no staircase of disbelief. It doesn't exist. All of that stuff is untrue, every single last minute of it. And there is a lot of people walking around who don't even want to take the first step. They don't want to know. And here's why. If you take step number 1, Lee Harvey Oswald did not kill JFK. You have to go to step 100. You have to go all the way up to step 100 in due course. And deep inside, everyone knows that, and they don't want to take that journey because it's hard. It's hard, it's ugly, blood will be spilt, people will be lost, people will disappear, people will laugh at you, people will take business away from you, people will mock you, people may even lock you up. So most people, they hover the foot over that first stair, you know, when you're just about to stand on a stair, and they think, you know what, if I take this first step in due course, in the fullness of time, I might have to go all the way to the top. Flat Earth, God. I don't know whether I can do that. I don't even know whether I want to go there. And again, I emphasize this point, every single stair is a question mark. It's not whether this is the case or not. That's a very personal decision. We don't need to objectively agree on anything here. It's a personal journey, a personal staircase. All they are question marks. Flat Earth, there's a lot of big important questions there. Really, really important questions. Anyone who writes that off needs the brain examining. They need to go back and get the crayons out and start again.